Hey, I just finished Humanity on PS5. I wanted to tell you about it real quick and ultimately recommend it. So Humanity released back in May amidst the flurry of games like Tears of the Kingdom, Jedi Survivor, and The Lord of the Rings Gollum. Humanity is produced by Enhanced Games, which might be familiar if you've played Rez, Luminous, or most famously probably Tetris Effect. One of my favorite parts about Humanity is how often it takes what initially appears to be straightforward and basic mechanics and stretches and bends them to a bunch of different gameplay scenarios and styles. For this review, I'm going to stick to footage and information up to around the 30% completion mark, just to preserve that discovery. I'll discuss the gameplay, sound design, art design, story, and overall game experience. This review is written by me, so if you have any questions about the game, I would love to answer them down in the comments. So the core of Humanity's gameplay revolves around guiding a specific amount of humans to the light, a goalpost of sorts that you'll find in each level. Some levels require elevating hundreds, a literal stream of continuous humans, through the light, while others require a smaller, specific number. Humans will typically flow from their starting gate in a constant stream, with no penalty initially for lost humans. The game world is laid out with square tiles, and on each tile you can place a different command, such as turn, jump, split, and stop. In each level there are between 1 to 3 goldies, large golden humans that act as bonus collectibles and objectives. Goldies are usually more difficult to retrieve, but can grant you bonus abilities for the good dog, and skins and effects for the humans. Humanity begins with this core gameplay layout, but changes and bends in different ways throughout the game in interesting and engaging ways that kept me coming back. Things really escalate over the course of the game. Despite the occasional gameplay shifts though, one thing is always the same. You control a dog, specifically a Shiba Inu, with the control stick for movement, the cross button for jumping, and the square button for commands. The triggers control the flow of time. Right trigger for fast forward, left trigger for stop. Instead of being an omnipresent camera, you have to physically move the good dog around the stage, which I felt kinda connected me to what was happening more than it would have if I was just a floating camera, like Lakitu from Super Mario Bros. The game has great visuals. It has a very minimalist look that really helps the puzzles and entire experience fit together in a satisfying way. The style fits well with the gameplay, as it's always easy to separate the humans, the dog, and the environment. The game runs perfectly on PS5 from my experience, with what appears to be 60 FPS and 4K output. I think the visual standouts here are the massive crowds of humans. At any given time, there can be thousands of individual people on the screen, which, impressively enough, doesn't impact the performance. Eat your heart out, Mark Cerny, and Knack as well. This is the kind of game that Miyamoto was dreaming of back when the Super Mario 128 prototype was about to become Pikmin. The way the thousands of humans can be manipulated in the game's main hub level is a great example. It's extremely satisfying and also impressive. The sound design is mostly good. In previous games like Luminous, and especially Tetris Effect, the audio felt connected to the gameplay in a way that could lead to trance-like states of flow. In Tetris Effect, for example, sounds that occurred while dropping and matching blocks added naturally to the music, as if your gameplay was part of the game's larger orchestra. In Humanity, though, there's little connection between the music, sound effects, and gameplay. This is disappointing given the publisher's previous titles, but it's ultimately fine because the rest of the sound design is pretty solid. Player actions and world events have a real tactile sound that's definitely satisfying to listen to. And using the pause and speed up action specifically make me feel like a DJ hero.
So you want to be a DJ?
The music was slightly hit or miss for me though. Some tracks were soothing and unique, but a bunch felt overly repetitive and just too chaotic. It's fine for a quick puzzle, but if you're stuck on a puzzle for over 10 minutes, it can become pretty grating. I usually like this kind of music, but when I unlocked the ability to change the background track before each stage, I almost always picked the quiet and ambient void track and put a podcast or something on in the background. Music is obviously really subjective though, so your mileage may vary. Story-wise, there's not too much to say, but that's okay. Although you appear to play as a good dog, You're really playing as someone or something that appears to have been reincarnated as a Shiba Inu for some reason. You're guided by many different voices towards what appears to be some kind of spiritual transcendence. The plot is basic, but it's perfect for what it is. I should touch on the different game modes, even though I basically stuck to single player. There's a VR mode for PS4, PS5, and PC. I don't have a VR headset, but I imagine it would elevate it to a new level, pun sort of intended. There's a stage creator, which is great for two reasons. One, if you're the creative type, there's a bunch of options for creating new stages. And two, if you're not creative, like me, but you're looking for additional stages, there are hundreds of super impressive stages to pick from online. So I played Humanity on PS5, and I worked my way through it over the last month, July 2023 if you're watching from the future. The PS5 says my total playtime is 23 hours, but as always, around 5 or 6 of those hours are probably idle time. The difficulty was perfect, and all the puzzles had reasonable solutions. There were a few that had me stumped for quite a while, but I purposely didn't look up any solutions online, and it was very satisfying when I finally beat them. I know that might sound like a humble brag, but I can attribute my success to LEGO Alpha Team on the PC, which, funnily enough, is somewhat similar to Humanity at some points. Humanity is on PS5, PS4, and PC, and it's about $40 regularly in Canada. It's included in PlayStation Plus Extra though, so if you want to give it a shot, you can always sign up for 1 month of extra and cancel it once you've finished. I give Humanity 9 good dogs out of 10.